الحمد لله رب العالمين العاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد يا عباد الله. In this episode of It Takes a Village, I just want to really get us to think and to really reevaluate our situations and what are we doing with our lives. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, لا حسد إلا في اثنتين, that there is no hasad. And here, with the meaning of hasad is ghibta. It means that you want this thing for yourself, but you don't want the other person to lose it. Naam. This is what is meant here. In any event, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that there is no jealousy except for two cases. رَجُلٌ أَتَاهُ اللَّهُ مَالًا فَسَلَّطَهُ عَلَى هَلَكَاتِهِ فِي الْحَقِّ وَرَجُلٌ أَتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْحِكْمَةَ فَيَقْضِي بِهَا وَيُعَلِّمُهَا. حديث متفق عليه من حديث ابن مسعود رضي الله تعالى عنه. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that there is no jealousy except for two cases. Right? So only for two individuals can you desire what they have, and it's okay. Right? You don't want them to lose it. You just want what they got. Why? So you can do with it what they do with it. And this is the key right here. So you can do with it what they are doing with it. The first one that the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, he said that a man who Allah has given him money. Naam, Allah Ta'ala has given him money. And this individual, فَسَلَّطَهُ عَلَى هَلَكَاتِهِ فِي الْحَقِّ, that he spends it. He spends his money appropriately in the truth, or in the way of the truth. Yani, fi sabilillah. He spends his money fi sabilillah. So I want to ask us, because we live in a time where we have many individuals who they are striving to become financially literate. Now, and this is a good thing. No one is going to blame you for that. Now, become financially literate. This is good. Now, I encourage all the Muslims to become financially literate. But the question I have to ask you is, for what? Now, intergenerational wealth? Yes, this is a good thing. Naam, inshallah ta'ala, it's a good thing. We need more people to talk about it in a manner that is good and halal. Naam, it's a good thing. But that's it. Take care of your family right now. Okay, alhamdulillah, this is a really good thing. Naam, this is a really good thing. But when you look at the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he said, فَسَلَّطَهُ عَلَى هَلَكَاتِهِ فِي الْحَقِّ, that he spent it upon the ways of good. Naam, every way that's good, he spent his money in that way. So, setting something up and leaving something for intergenerational wealth, excellent. Spending on your family right here, right now, excellent. It's from what you should do as a man. Now, but what else? That's it. Now, you want to buy some commodities? Okay, it's halal, no problem. But that's it. Nothing else. Not spending on the poor, not feeding people, not providing water for people, fresh, clean drinking water for people, building schools, building masajid, spending in the ways of charity, philanthropy. Huh? Oh, there's so many ways of good. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that this individual, he spent his money in good. Every way you can think of, he was spending in good. Because this was an individual who he was looking for excuses to spend. Who needs? So I can spend. He was looking for excuses to spend fi sabilillah. Ya subhanallah. Where are we from this? This is the question that I have to ask us. Where are we from this? Why is it that our thinking when it comes to spending is restricted? Ya subhanallah. Where are the individuals who are enthusiastic about spending upon the masajid, so that the masjid does not have to ask, so that the masjid could afford to do what it needs to do in the most efficient of manners? How many people complain we don't have an imam? Yeah, subhanallah, but your masjid that you're at cannot afford an imam, and you are not putting forth your money in order to help them hire an imam and can be able to pay him a decent livable salary. Now, you're not trying to help with that, but then you complain what you don't got. How many people complain we don't have schools? Do you know how much money it takes to run a school? It takes a great amount of money to run a school. But they complain, I don't have any school for my children. This community, this community, that. Okay. But you're part of the blame as well, because you're part of that community. So what have you spent from your money, from your hard-earned money? What have you spent in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help to facilitate the establishment of a school that's going to pay many teachers? Because listen, if your masjid can't afford to pay an imam, that's one salary. How are you going to get a school that requires so many more salaries? So are we in fact of individuals who would like to be millionaires? Billionaires? Do you want to be a billionaire? Do you want to be a millionaire? And if you do, why? What are you going to spend it on? And what's indicative of what you're going to spend it on is, what are you spending your money on right now? Right now, what are you spending your money on? Because you are you. Whether you got $5 or $500,000 or $5 million or $5 billion, you are you. What do you spend on? The only thing that's going to change are the type of things that you buy. The only thing that's going to change is the level and the extent that you spend. So if you're a person that with your little bit of wealth, you spend fi sabilillah a little bit. It could be pennies. It could be $1 here. It could be $10 here. It could be $5 a month. But you're constantly spending in the way of Allah what you are able and capable of spending. Then that is a sign that if you have $5 million, that you will still spend fi sabilillah. Except it wouldn't be $5 a month anymore. Now it would be a lot more because you can afford a lot more. But if you're an individual that you're stingy and you always find excuses why you can't do something, then you're going to be just like those rich people that always find excuses why they can't do something. So what kind of person are you and who are you trying to be? Because we're not going to be able to build functional communities with a bunch of people that's only worried about themselves, that's not concerned about spending fi sabilillah, that are not trying to spend in the ways of good everything that they can do. If you're a person that right now, maybe you don't got a lot of money, but you got some food, you eat, right? Okay, so take a portion of your food and give it to somebody else. You can do that, but you don't even try to do that. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ وَلَوْ شِقِّ التَّمْرَةِ, fear the fire even with a piece of a date. Even a piece of a date. Are you giving even a piece of a date? You can't give one date away? You can't give away one date? But you want us to believe that, oh, if I had it, I would give it? No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. What's the proof? You don't give nothing now. And you have the ability to give. You don't have a penny? You can give a penny. You don't even give a penny, and you can give a penny. So why would you want us to understand that when you got more, you're going to get more? What kind of person are you? This is what I want each and every one of us to really check ourselves about. What kind of person are we? And what are we showing right now? What's the illustration to show what kind of person are we right now? What are we doing to try to help establish Islam in our area right now? In what ways of good are we trying to spend or encourage others to spend in? Yeah, subhanallah, maybe you don't have nothing to give, but you can't tell nobody else about it. Those who you know have the ability, you can't share with them and encourage those who have the ability to give. Man dalla ala khair, whoever points to a good, as the Prophet ﷺ said, then he will have from the reward the same reward as those who follow him in it. وَلَا يَنْقِصُ ذَلِكَ مِنْ أُجُورِهِمْ شَيْئًا, or كما قال Nabi ﷺ, and that will not decrease in any of their reward. Everybody gets paid in full. You ain't have no money, no way to give, but you knew somebody that did, and you told them, listen, akhi, you know what? You need to give them people some money. You need to spend fi sabilillah. Akhi, it's a really good project. Look at their proposal. You need to spend fi sabilillah. This is a really good thing, man. This is a good opportunity for you in the hereafter. And then that person goes and spends, you'll be rewarded. But you can't even give a good word right now, and you want us to believe that if Allah gave you money, you're going to spend, you're going to give something. You can't even give a good word. So I want us to think about this hadith and think, what kind of person are we? Are we going to spend fi sabilillah, or are we going to find excuses? Because we're not going to be able to build communities with a bunch of people that find excuses. If you one of those excuse finding people, always coming up with why something can't be done, a naysayer, you can't build a community with a bunch of naysayers. And we have a lot of naysayers around. Maybe this is why our communities are in such the shambles that they're in. With all this type of people running around with this type of mentality, of course we're not going to get anywhere. Allah musta'an. In any event, I really want to think about this hadith. And then I want to think about the next man, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned. A man who Allah Ta'ala has given him hikmah, meaning giving him ilm, giving him knowledge. فَيَقْضِي بِهَا, and he judges by way of it. وَيُعَلِّمُهَا, and he teaches it. In order to be able to do this, then we have to be of those who are concerned with knowledge. How are we going to build communities? This is a real question right now. How are we going to build communities if none of us are concerned with knowledge? Just the imam has to be concerned with knowledge? That's it? No, everybody. The Prophet ﷺ said, طَلَبُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَ عَلَى كُلِّ Muslim. Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. Every Muslim. Not just the imams, not just the shuyukh, not just the ulama. Every Muslim has to have a concern to seek knowledge. Every Muslim. Because you have to know what you're supposed to know. Al-ilm qabl al-qawli wal-amal. Knowledge is before statements and actions. We say this like it's everybody know that, right? Knowledge is before statements and actions. How can knowledge be before statements and actions and you not even trying to learn? So what knowledge are you implementing? How are we going to build a community if nobody's trying to learn? If you want to see how many people are trying to learn, look at the attendance for the classes. Look at the attendance for the classes. Even in communities where they have good attendance for the classes, does that make up the majority of the class or the majority of the community? Are they there, or is it a small portion of the community, 10% of the community, 15%, 5%, 2% of the community? The point is that we have to strive to do better. Bithnillahi ta'ala. This is just a small thing I wanted to put in our heads, looking at this hadith, to ask ourselves, which one are we? Who are we really? Who are we really? إلى اللقاء. استودعكم الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.